Welcome back to my channel. At the last topic, I thought I give the differences between oil and fat, and I told you that at room temperature, fats are saturated, while oil is unsaturated. So today, I want to give you the differences between saturated and unsaturated fats, because most of the time you go to food label, they will say this percentage of saturated fat, this percentage of unsaturated fat, and we encourage to eat something that has unsaturated fats. So what is the difference between saturated and unsaturated fat? The main difference is in their chemical nature. That's what they're made up of, and also how they appear at room temperature. Like saturated fats at room temperature is solid. Ordinary temperature is solid, and it contains only single bonds between carbon. C is carbon molecules, and are saturated with hydrogen atoms. And they are found in animal products like meat, dairy, that's milk, cheese, and all that, and also in eggs, saturated fat. So look at the structure of saturated fat. If you look at this structure, this is it said that they contain only single bonds, single bonds. Here, the reason, if you can see that I circled here, this is the functional group. This is the carboxyl acid group. That is the functional group. So this double bond here is not playing anything. So the saturated fats, the saturated fats contains only single bond and very stable. And then unsaturated fat, which is recommended in the label, that is recommended that we eat food that is made up of unsaturated fat. This unsaturated fat is liquid at room temperature, and it contains at least one double bond between carbon molecules and hydrogen. That is, it contains at least one double bond. Some of them may contain more than one double bond. And they are found in plant products like vegetable oils, nuts, and fish. If you look at the structure here, this is saturated fats. This is the functional group, the carboxylic acid group. And then look at, you see, we have one double bond here. It may have more than one double bond. And this double bond is what that is the thing that is making a difference between this saturated and the unsaturated fats. You look at this one, because it's made up of single bonds, it's just very stable. You can't bend it. It is very stable. That's why if you eat fat in your body, the fat will remain like that. It is stable. But unsaturated, because of this double bond, this here, it can kink, it can bend. It's not saturated, which means it can take if you add water to it, it can hydrolyze it. And that what hydrolyzing it means adding water, make it a liquid. And that's why unsaturated fat is always in a liquid form, because of this bond here. But this one is solid because it's stable. People that study chemistry know that when someone has single bond, it's stable. But double bond means that it has room for accepting other elements. For instance, if you add 2 hydrogen here, you can hydrogenate this by adding 2 hydrogen across the bond and remove the bond. It can bend. And because it can bend, it can be hydrolyzed. And because it can be hydrolyzed, it can add other things to that. That's why this unsaturated fat is a liquid. You can you find it in a liquid form in a room temperature. And it's very, very important, because if this one, once it enters your body the way it is, that is the way it is. And that's why people are fighting, food label, people that know, the dietitians are talking, don't eat a lot of food that contains saturated fat, because it doesn't, once it enters your body, that's the way it is. But this one can bend, it can be hydrolyzed, it can be hydrogenated, and it is healthier because it can accept other things that can, you know, make it to be in one form or the other. But once this one is there, it is there. So we are encouraged to eat food that is made of unsaturated fats, which means that's why people convert animal, I mean vegetable products like oil, nuts, and fish, and have to reduce our intake of meat, milk, and eggs. So that's the difference between two of them, and that will now take us to study cholesterol to know this saturated and non-saturated fat, the part they play in this cholesterol that is a monster. Thank you.